Hello and welcome to the Super Basement Bros Show. My name is Connor and I'm joined by my co-hosts Tanner and Hasten.
Heyo.
If you guys didn't know, we are a podcast that's dedicated to celebrating the world of entertainment. That includes video games, movies, all that stuff. And today we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X because if you haven't noticed, pre-orders have gone live for PlayStation 5 out of the blue.
What? What are you talking about?
It's too late now.
They definitely haven't noticed.
Yeah. And then Series X pre-orders go on sale next week as of this recording.
Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Yeah, no,
the exact time.
It's September 18th at the time of recording this, by the way, at noon. So just so you guys know where we're at.
So the reveal was like 2 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so PlayStation had their big final event, as it were, for the...
I think they're going to have one more, because we still haven't seen the user interface for either consoles.
That's true.
That might be something that's...
I think it'll be more like a blog post type thing for that.
I feel like that should be a whole show. Like, user interface, and then, like, what can your console actually do?
I mean, we've already kind of seen Series X's, though. They've been teasing it.
Well, Xbox is just literally just the Xbox Ones.
Yeah, but like slightly different.
Well, but then they're transferring that one to the Xbox One, too.
Yeah, because they're doing like a whole new
Yeah, and a whole new UI. Well, the thing is, I saw a lot of people actually mentioning that. Like, how come we haven't seen the interface at all for the PS5? But, I don't know, I feel like that's more of a thing for hardcore people.
It's more of like a new
Well,
one.
it's like...
It's kind of like, eh.
It's like, we care, but how many, like... general people are going to be like, oh, the interface.
The interface, wow.
Like, that's stuff we care about.
Interface.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That's some of the stuff I get most excited to see. Like, but I kind of hope we don't know what it looks like until we turn on the console.
Yeah.
Because that'd be kind of cool. Cool surprise.
Like, yeah, those little things are the
We
coolest.
turn it on and it's just a jumble of garbage. Just like, what the frick?
It's just the PlayStation 4.
It's just like a bunch of
Why
bunch
is the
of
launch
ads.
game over here and then the app's all the way clear down here?
And then
Why is the launch
5
game on my controller?
Why is there 5 monster ads spread across the screen?
They're like, oh, this makes sense.
There's
They
like
couldn't compete with the Game Pass.
just had to get those ads in. It's actually interesting that I don't feel like the PlayStation UI has really any ads from what I've seen, which is nice. Xbox has a few, but they're mostly like for Xbox stuff.
Xbox games or for stuff.
I actually really like the PlayStation's thing where you can press down on the game and it has everything
the
for
cross
it.
media bar.
Yeah.
I prefer the Xbox, but I think that's mostly because I'm used to it. Kind of like phones.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely prefer the Xbox. I just think it's more clean.
I'd like to see
PlayStation's just kind of like, here's everything you own. It's like, okay, I want just like certain things appearing.
I'd like to see a poll because it's one of those things where I've heard some people be like, "Oh, the PlayStation interface sucks," and then I've heard people be like, "The Xbox interface sucks." I'm like, I get both. Like, I don't know. I prefer Xbox as well because I've played that the most, that UI. But I'm like, I don't see how you could hate them that much. You know what I mean? Like,
if I'm honest though, I feel like the Switch has one of the best too.
Yeah, it's just
Switch
simple.
is super basic.
Because it's just simple. It's got your games.
It's almost too basic.
But like, if they had an option where you could press the home button twice and then there's like achievements, I don't know what else you'd really need.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I actually really do like the Switch's interface because it's very simple to understand.
when it's quick.
It's quick, it's snappy. Yeah, but once again, it's kind of like
But
you can't even have
the next
themes.
thing Nintendo needs to include, they need more online games, first of all, I think. Because people want to play online on the go.
Well, they need to fix their online.
And then they need to fix their online services. Like, there's no party, really. Like, really,
yeah.
there's no party.
yeah,
You would have to
Nintendo
use,
party.
like, Xbox.
You have to get.
There's like their
Discord.
apps.
You have to
They an
download
app.
the Nintendo app.
We've tried it once. It was kind of crappy.
Yeah, it's not great. That's one thing Nintendo in general needs to work on.
They also need like 5G. I don't know why they haven't done that. They're a portable console.
Well, speaking of, that's something we'll kind of talk about as
yeah.
well with
The rumors.
this whole conversation. Is that and it sounds like Nintendo's working on a 4K system that's supposed to come out next year.
We've got to get a direct for them soon.
I
There
hope
was the
so.
Direct Mini just yesterday.
That doesn't.
Well, it's weird because Nintendo's done all these partner showcases,
Yeah.
which have like a bunch of, like mostly Japanese games. And then they did the Mario Direct, which was awesome. But they haven't had just like a proper normal Direct in a long time.
And that's probably due to what's going on. I mean,
It for sure is. I think they've basically said that. But
they
still,
even
it is.
said it at the beginning of the Mini Direct.
I do wonder when we will get like news on the 4K Switch, if that's real, which it sounds like it is. Like there's been so
I might
many
imagine they're
reports
going
of
to
it.
do that because it doesn't seem like the Switch has got another 5 or 6 years, I think.
Well, that's what the director of Nintendo said already. He said it's like halfway through its lifetime.
He said something about halfway through its life.
So it's still got
3 more years.
5
at least,
Yeah.
yeah. But I bet you it'll go longer even.
The truth is they don't need a new console yet. Like, they're fine.
No, yeah, the Switch is what people want.
It's
from
what-
Nintendo.
I do think they could really use like a higher graphic version, like a 4K.
Upgrades for sure.
Pro.
But it's one of those things.
Though, like, what game do you want to play on Nintendo that is a high graphics?
Breath of the
quality
Wild.
game?
Like Breath of the
No,
Wild.
like
would be
that
really
game
cool.
could run on anything.
That's true. The thing is,
Like it ran on the original Switch.
That's what Nintendo's done so well.
At
Is
really
they don't,
high quality.
They don't need graphics. They've made their games to where they don't need.
Yeah, their graphic style isn't like high res,
And it's, like,
if you were to
good
play
looking anyway,
Cyberpunk or something, like it's not the same.
Well, and you don't. If Cyberpunk was coming to the Switch, like that's
Like when
not
Witcher
where you
came to
probably
Switch,
want it.
it can't really run the Witcher. Very well.
What was that?
Or,
one? On the Direct Mini, there was like the Monster Hunter game. It looked so bad. I was like, this looks like it's from 2006. Like, no joke.
Oh, it's interesting too because that one compared to like Monster Hunter World, which came out just a couple years ago.
It's the one where he was like throwing his whip into the air. And
I didn't watch the trailers for it because
it literally looked so bad.
The 360 version of Skyrim looks better than on the Switch. Like,
oh well, yeah, that's true because the Switch's appeal isn't about graphical superiority.
yeah,
or
it's that you can
power.
take it wherever you want.
Well, and it depends on like the game because like first party Nintendo games can look amazing. Like Mario Odyssey looks freaking gorgeous. But once again, it's like it's comparing like art styles because obviously
Like anything can run Fortnite because of the art style. Not as much can run Modern Warfare because it's Call of Duty
called Modern Warfare.
Warzone. Warzone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's
It's
just
more
different.
realistic.
Yeah,
It's-
there's more explosions going
There's
on. that
God
are
rays.
real and
Well, way too many
lighting,
things
there's
going on.
ray
in general,
tracing,
yeah.
and like
So one of the biggest things talking about these new consoles, one of the biggest things I'm excited for is the ray tracing, which seems really cool.
Yeah.
It like I don't know if you guys have seen kind of what it does, but it basically just like I don't know. It just like
It's like
makes
the
it
light,
look
right?
better.
It makes
Yeah,
the lighting
like
look
all your
really
lighting
it's
looks
insane
better.
actually because they just added an update to Fortnite with ray tracing.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
yesterday, and I tried to enable
current
it.
consoles can't really do it, and a lot of PCs can't even do it.
Like mine was able to enable, but it made it really choppy. But I was able to at least look at it, and it looks awesome. It looks really good.
A lot of people were saying that the PS5 trailer for Fortnite actually looked really
No,
good.
yeah,
It did look really good.
It does look.
It looks
really
like it looks like my PC when I play on it, which is ultra
And it
like,
will
high
be.
settings, which is good.
Yeah.
And the frame rates will be a big deal, especially for Fortnite and any shooters that you have on the next gen consoles.
Well, the nice thing about the new consoles is they'll be capped at a certain quality. So like,
I bet Fortnite runs at 120.
well, and it'll be ultra high settings. You know, because like with PC, I can drop mine down to low settings if I wanted to like stream to where it's like not choppy at all, but it makes everything look like square polygons from the Nintendo 64.
What do you guys prefer when it comes to like console gaming? Do you guys prefer to have higher frames or like a higher resolution? Because I think
I think
what
it
I would
depends on the
prefer, like with what I'm gonna want to do, if it's possible to like adjust. I think I want to do like 1080p at 120 frames per second.
Yeah.
consistently.
That's what I tend to do. Is I'm not too worried about like the resolution because like with Destiny or Fortnite, I play it literally at low settings, but I have it at 120 frames per second, just so I can play faster.
When it comes to online competitive stuff, you probably want things with higher frames. And then when it comes to like a single player game,
Like Uncharted.
You want
probably
more
do
good-looking,
resolution because it's like it doesn't matter if there's a slight input lag or something like that. I don't know.
That's true because like with Destiny, I refuse to drop it down. I like having it as the good settings where it looks good because I don't want to make it look bad because Destiny is a beautiful game.
Yeah,
so.
and that's how I would play like any single player game.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm so excited for these new consoles because it's going to be huge that like you can play at 120 frames per second. You can play with 115 FOV, which for me FOV is huge, and then also that the settings and the quality is going to be capped. It's going to be awesome because like you know that they're going to make it run well no matter what because they're not going to make it to where it's ultra high settings and you can't change it so it runs crappily, you know. So it's going to be awesome.
yeah, I was gonna ask you guys. So one thing I want to kind of bring up is, and this might be kind of a loaded question, but what do you guys think of in 2020 the phrase like console wars? Because I know it's always been a thing, but I almost feel like now it's not. It's like everyone is doing something so
the biggest
different.
issue is you have Nintendo doing their thing, which they're not even close.
Yeah.
You know,
Because they're doing their own
They're
thing.
destroying, honestly.
yeah, exactly.
Because they're outselling consoles right now, and they're rumored to outsell
They will.
the new consoles.
Probably, yeah, because there probably will be shortages,
Yeah.
and as we've seen with the PS5 pre-orders.
And then you have like Sony, who's doing classic stuff. They're just being normal. And then you have Xbox, who's like, we don't even care about our console. Honestly,
The cloud
Just
It's not about the
kinda-
console.
It's about cloud gaming and like this Xbox Game Pass, which is now has EA Play
Yeah.
included in it.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
crazy.
that's right.
And you can play all of that on your Xbox One for the next 5 years.
Regarding like the console wars and like that whole expression, I feel like now, like we were just talking about, everyone is doing something so vastly different that it's not so much like a war anymore as it is just like, which one do you prefer,
I
or
think,
like which one?
Yeah,
it's like you can get all of them and have different experiences on all of them.
I think there's still like aspects of the console wars. Like there's certain. I think.
It's always business at the end. Of the day.
I think it's the games, like, because like everything else is kind of it's kind of gone away. It used to be about the whole console, everything the console did, release date, UI, everything, power. Now it's just about the games. You know, like
It really
who
is.
has the better game.
Because honestly, like you weren't gonna until we get something like the HoloLens, right,
Yeah.
from Microsoft or something like that. All you're gonna do is improve graphics, and it's to the point where graphics are so good that it's not like
it's minute.
it's minute and
upgrades.
And with now you're even talking about your frame rates are fine. So like it doesn't even matter because even the next console after this, unless there's something unique to it, then it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Unless they add portability to it, or unless they add, like it just doesn't matter. There was an interview with one of like the Sony heads, and they said they're like, we're not adding brand new games to our new that whole game thing that they're doing with
PlayStation Now.
No, it's not now. It's,
PlayStation Collection.
the PlayStation Collection. They're they're not saying they're like we can't add new games that come out to this, and everyone's like, oh yeah, you can. Xbox does it, and they're like, well, Xbox has a different model, right? They have Sea of Thieves, which is constantly making them money, or like,
yeah,
I don't know, any of their games. Whereas Sony's is literally Uncharted,
one and done.
You know, it's a one and done game, and they can't afford to not. You know.
Yeah,
That's true. I didn't think about that.
That is a good point because Xbox definitely their games are much more live service, like,
Which I think there will be
microtransaction
single player
heavy.
games. You're gonna have Fable. You know, that's a single player only game. But
I mean,
they also have games that are microtransactions.
Well,
you do think
as far
about
as we
that,
know,
like-
Fable could have multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like I
Because
wouldn't be surprised if
you,
it did.
you think about that, like Uncharted 4, you could probably buy it for like what, $10?
yeah,
No?
super cheap.
Sea of Thieves is making $10 every hour for
Yeah.
microtransactions. You know, so it's like I can see why they're scared to do it because all of their games are
single player.
no microtransactions, not even like DLCs.
Well, think about
so they're
this.
thinking we're gonna make zero money from that game.
Yeah.
We're gonna be putting it on the service and being like,
I saw.
Well,
some
you look at
people-
it. You look just us three, right? There's two people that are going to pre-order the PlayStation 5. I don't think you are, right?
I'm gonna get it eventually.
Eventually, later on, right? Me and Connor pre-ordered it. Connor's probably not getting the Xbox,
not at launch.
and then
I do.
I'm
want
getting
it, though.
both. So it's like it really just depends where you are at.
Well,
you
and
know?
here's the
Like,
thing: if I could afford both at launch, I would.
Sure.
The only reason I'm going PlayStation 5 is because.
But you don't
like,
need to
Spider-
buy it.
I don't
Here's-
need to.
at
Yeah.
launch.
That's
you know?
the
I don't even need
hon-
to buy it. I want to play on the
Right.
better.
Yeah.
Well,
console,
and that's
you know?
the honest truth because that's the only reason I'm getting a PlayStation 5 and not an Xbox first. Because I'll probably get the PlayStation 5 in like 6 months, but the Xbox probably years. Like
Yeah.
I have no need for it.
You have
'Cause
to get the PS5. bro.
With the PS5 is because they do that model with their games. It now requires
If
me
you
to
want
get
to
it.
play those, you have.
and I
to get.
want to
I
play.
think you can get.
God
I
of
think
War
actually,
Ragnarok.
I think Spider-Man is on.
It's on PS4 as well.
But Ragnarok, I don't think will
No.
be.
Oh,
No,
I
I
doubt
doubt
it. Yeah.
The thing is PS5 has already said that they're didn't do the exclusive
is
model
weird.
next year.
It is weird
2021.
though that did you guys hear Horizon 2 will be on PS4 as well,
I did.
which is weird.
And Sackboy.
And a lot of people are kind of upset about that because PlayStation has been saying for the last few months like, "Oh, we believe in generations and like
But now they're
everything."
going
But now
back,
it's like,
doubling
but
back.
your first two big exclusives are going to be also on PS4.
I think it's because
So-
they know they're like we're not going to be able to produce
A
enough
lot.
consoles
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
Well,
people
and-
do need to remember
top of
that,
that-
Xbox said they're going to do that too, though.
Yeah.
They did say, they said, our plan is to have every game playable on the Xbox One until
Like in 2
2022.
years. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of like a catch-22.
Well, it's interesting because I think it was Aaron Greenberg or somebody from Xbox tweeted out something like Xbox now has more confirmed exclusive Xbox Series X games than PS5, like confirmed that are coming out. And it's weird because so apparently because Ashen, and is that the Oblivion one, right? Or something. It's like Ashen, and then
whatever it is.
Fable,
Skyrim.
like those they said are only on Series X. Like you won't be able to
Yeah.
play those on an Xbox One. So technically, they have more confirmed next gen games only than PlayStation, which is
Because I don't
weird.
think they've confirmed Ragnarok yet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if
I'm
it's
sure
coming
it
to
is.
PS4
If it's
or not, yeah.
if it's only PS5 though, not PS4. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing with in general with this PlayStation conference we got. PlayStation is being way too coy and private about their
not
information.
announcing any
like,
dates.
Just say it. Like, it was so confusing because during the conference, like, the Spider-Man trailer ended and it didn't say if it was a launch title.
Yeah, and
it
then
was like
later Insomniac was like, oh yeah,
it's a launch title. And everyone's like, what? Why
Would've
didn't
been
you
didn't
say
you
it?
just
why
announce
didn't
that
you
right there?
start the show with
saying that? Or,
no? Why didn't you start the show with like a Fortnite graphics thing or
Yeah.
something like that, and then end the show with the price reveal, and then
The launch
end
games.
the show with some stuff.
Demon Souls also gets its trailer, and at the end of the
Oh my
trailer,
gosh,
it's
yeah.
like no date, no release or anything. We have no idea. And then it's afterward, like I see Wario64 is like, oh, it looks like on the PlayStation blog just posted that it's a launch title, and it's like,
And that it's exclusive.
yeah, well,
It's not
and
coming to
not
PC.
come to PC at least
Like
right
it-
away.
like they thought.
I bet it's gonna come to PC
Well, yeah.
at some point.
Or they,
Like
yeah, they
Death
should have just
Stranding.
said launch title.
Yeah,
They don't even have to do a date.
I
That's
know.
true. They
The
could've
thing
just
is
done launch
a
title.
lot of the this is PS or PlayStation is really being really like secretive
KG, yeah.
because a lot of the games they have announced, a lot of them are actually coming to PC. Like
And
from what they
PS4.
haven't said, like the only ones that aren't is like literally like Sackboy, Spider-Man,
They're big
Horizon,
ones.
and God of War. Like
Yeah.
all the rest are coming to PC, like
Mm-hmm.
that they've announced.
Well, and that's what they do. It's like heck, even
But it's smart. 'cause
Final
it makes people
Fantasy
think, oh,
started and the trailer ended and it said like PlayStation exclusive or something. And they always do this, but like in the fine print, it's like timed exclusive. Once again, it's like it's just like the Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo one, where it's like, yeah, it's gonna be exclusive for 6 months, a year, or something like that.
that is one thing I respect about Xbox with their events is they're literally like, what do they say?
Coming to
Launch?
everything.
They say they literally say like launch exclusive, and then they say console exclusive. Because if it's a launch one, it's
Xbox's
only timed.
messaging is kind of weird too in terms of their words.
Because we don't really like, even if you look up the launch line, Xbox doesn't really have anything at launch.
That's the thing.
They don't
That's
have a
the thing.
They
single.
just Game
real,
Pass
yeah, they
is
have
like-
Game Pass and EA Play,
Mm-hmm.
so like you'll be able to play a lot of stuff on your console.
In all honesty, though,
Yeah.
like that's an issue. Like I feel like that's gonna be a bad thing for them. They have
I think it's a bad thing
literally
for
nothing.
both of the companies in terms of, I don't know, like Xbox has definitely been more upfront, I think, about things overall than PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like there's still questions we have that I'm surprised haven't been answered at this point.
Especially when they expect us to pre-order it and buy it. It's
Yeah,
like, I don't
exactly.
know anything.
Let's see. So the Xbox launch titles. This one says Halo Infinite. Oh, it says it got delayed.
Delayed, yeah. That was supposed to be a big one.
Nothing's
The
loaded.
main launch title is
Um,
Destiny Beyond Light.
Yeah, it is. Well,
A 6-year-old
and,
game.
What is the other one? Oh, Gears Tactics as well. Coming to Xbox. It's already on PC.
I actually like Gears Tactics. I don't know. I played it on PC. It was pretty cool, actually. I liked it.
It's basically like
I'm not really a
Halo
tactics
Wars.
player, but I understand Halo, so it was
Yeah.
it was more fun. Than
It's
what I
Halo
think.
Wars, but Gears,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, so Xbox has Dirt 5 launching, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, Gears Tactics, Tetris Effect, Watch Dogs Legion. That's it.
Well, and
Yakuza Like a Dragon. But
I guess we should say, with the prices and everything, how do you guys feel about that? So the main consoles are the same price, $499. The PlayStation
The
5
ones that
with
most
disc
people
drive
are gonna get.
and the Series X, both the disc drives, those are $500. Then you have the discless PS5,
it's
which
just
is
without the disc drive.
it's literally the
Same
same PS5,
thing.
just digital, is $400. And then you have the Xbox Series S, which is basically a downgraded Series X, and it's $300, right?
Mhm.
So how do you guys think that lines up for everyone? Like what? Because I gotta be honest, the 400 PS5 discless was a big move, I think, by PlayStation.
I think so too. But the thing is, with the Series S, it's not an actual downgrade because you do still get the SSD. You do
Yeah.
still get
Oh, I
all
don't mean
that stuff.
downgrade overall, just
But
compared to the Series X.
Compared to the Series X, there's no downgrade from the discless version of
Yeah.
the PS5, but there is for the Xbox.
Which is nuts to think
So-
that PlayStation is saying that a disc drive is worth
$100, and it's not. No way, dude. The thing is I've
crazy.
seen a lot of people.
There's gotta be something
reports. Well, no, it's because of the disc drive.
4K Blu-ray gaming.
Still,
Well, the thing is it's
I
not.
could buy a blue.
I'm not saying it's because of something else. I think that Sony's taking a loss on it on purpose. And a lot of
think it's 'cause
a
of
lot
the-
of people
yeah.
are pointing this out, and this is something I haven't ever thought about, but it's actually genius business. You make your digital console cheaper by a lot, $100, to where a lot of people are going to go for the digital one now because they're like, oh, dang, that's a good price. But then it's going to end up costing them more in the long run, because then if PlayStation wanted to, their exclusives, they could leave at $70 on their store permanently and only do sales once in a great while. Whereas if you have the physical one, Walmart can drop freaking Uncharted. You can get Uncharted, every major PS4 game right now besides Last of Us 2, you can get for like $10. Like, it's crazy. You can get them all super cheap, physically anyway. And so it's like, it's actually a genius business move for PlayStation to make the digital one $400 a good price, and then all these people end up getting that one, and then they're stuck with only the PlayStation Store, and then they have to go off of whatever those prices are.
Yep.
Which, it's a good business move, but
the stores generally don't have a better deal than going to an actual store, like a Target or a Walmart or something.
Retailers almost always have better deals when it comes to physical games. Digital games rarely go, not on their store, but like, you know how in physical stores they have like digital vouchers for games? Those rarely go on sale. You almost never see those on sale.
Never.
Yeah. And so when it comes to the physical games, you're going to get the best deals in stores. And then once in a while you get good deals later in the generation for good exclusives online.
Stuff will drop to like $3 and stuff, which then it's fine. You can get it, whatever. But
it's to start, you're going to be dealing with that $70 price tag, which is something I wanted to bring up to you guys as well. That's PlayStation's the first to do it. Their exclusives will be $70 from now on. So
I think it's fine.
I do too.
Eventually they got to go up. Like, they can't stay at $60 forever. They've been at $60 for how long?
Since
the GameCube games,
dude,
60?
Yeah. It's like, crazy.
Everyone keeps talking like we got to raise the minimum wage and all that stuff. It's like, well, we should be way higher by now.
Yeah.
So
well, dude, it's
we
crazy.
Probably should be at like $80 or $90 for a game right now.
Well, it's honestly insane to think about like inflation and stuff, and that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are going to cost the same as the PS4 and Xbox One did at launch.
And the PS3.
That's crazy.
PS3 was more expensive.
Was more, and that's weird because, like, with inflation, it's like things should be more.
Gamers are just too stubborn. And
they're like,
I'm
not paying anything.
And Xbox and PlayStation, they know that. They know they can't
except for Fortnite skins.
Yeah.
I'll pay whatever you want for that.
RTX 9000, $8,000. Yeah, buy it.
It is interesting that it's like, if one of these consoles was $600, the memes would have been huge.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have been comparing it to the PS3 and be like, oh, it's going to be the PS3 all over again.
Well, I'm sorry, but like,
eventually
from what Xbox says, and like,
they're going to have to.
It's going to be like a PC eventually.
With the people who have like the test consoles and stuff, like all of them, all the tech guys, they say that it's like as worth it as like $1,000 PC. So it's nuts that they're selling it for $500. Like, it's insane. So we should be grateful that we're getting it.
Well, I mean, especially if you look at it from Xbox's perspective, if you get Game Pass Ultimate as well, like, my goodness,
for $500
is still
nuts.
That's insane. You could pay $15 a month and never buy any game again, and you'd have more than you can even play.
Yeah,
like ever.
Like,
it just they keep adding and they keep adding.
Yeah.
Oh, so a comparison I was going to bring up to you guys that I saw someone bring up that I like a lot is, you know, you get a lot of these people like, oh, and I hate these freaking reactions because they're so absurdly over the top, where it's like, oh, Xbox is done for, give it a few years, like they're done, like PlayStation consoles are going to outsell them big time, and it's like,
probably because they own the Japanese market.
It's like, well, the PlayStation will sell
Asian
more
market
than Xbox, but that doesn't matter. It's like Xbox is going to sell so many subscriptions for Game Pass.
Yeah,
every month they're going to be raking in $15.
That's what I was going to say.
8 years.
Yeah,
because like
from every person that's playing that console.
That is true about the console wars. That it's kind of over.
In terms of the console itself, it doesn't matter anymore.
I do think PlayStation, they got it right. Like they won as far as they won
the physical
more
box.
games. They've got way more games. Their console is way more worth it. I'm sorry, but $400 for the PlayStation 5.
It's a good deal.
That's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get the digital one. I don't care if it's like this costs more. I don't get discs anyway. Like, that's nuts, you know. And that's the good thing about why I'm gonna do it, is because I can get those games like God of War. I can get those games like
give it
Spider-Man.
a couple Black Fridays. That thing could be like $250. Like, it's crazy.
So it's like
you're gonna be like all the amazing games you're gonna be able to play on. It's crazy.
Well, that's my issues. Like with Xbox, I literally have not one reason to get it. Because they're being awesome. Because Xbox is so great.
They're so consumer friendly.
Because they've made it to where I don't need their console.
You know what you are doing?
I'm basically buying it with their.
You're basically buying it because you have a subscription pass that you're just going to keep on going.
That's the sneaky thing.
And that's
because
the
you
thing.
want these games on PC.
But like, you look at it, right? So they've made it to where they're like, hey, you, yes, you, with the Xbox One from 6 years ago, you don't have to upgrade
the
it.
launch Xbox One, you can be playing these freaking games on still, which is insane.
Not
At
only
least
that,
for the next
I
couple
can
years.
play with you guys, no matter
Yeah.
what you get. I
That's
can play with you
sometimes.
guys.
Yeah,
Like, which is insane. Like
Yeah.
that's the great thing, because they're like, oh yeah, don't worry. There's intergenerational crossplay. There's all the backwards compatibility in the world. Oh, also there's Game Pass.
Yeah.
And also you can buy a Series X for $10 more a month and pay
Well,
$25 and get a Series.
The nice thing is everything carries over with you. Like everything from your Xbox One, it's like your profile, achievements. And I know that's the case with PlayStation. Well, I'm just saying, like, the
It's
Xbox
because we
ecosystem.
do that so
yeah,
much,
the Xbox ecosystem is so user friendly in terms of just bringing everything over.
Everything.
Like, I know I could go log into Hasten's Xbox right now and not have any issues, and all my stuff is there. I could download all my digital games onto Hasten's Xbox and then take my profile off if I wanted to. And it
Well, and
doesn't.
here's the issue
hurt it.
that I saw somebody bringing up is they're like, oh, well, PlayStation will just port some of their best games to PlayStation 5.
Well, they are.
And I'm like, here's the thing: is if they do that, then you have to restart all over again. That's the great thing about Xbox is they don't
yeah.
port it; they just do backwards compatibility, where you have all your progress.
Instead of
this is now on the new console.
It's
Yeah,
like-
I'm playing Rocket League right now, right? I was because like last night it had me accept a thing. It's like, is this your main primary console you play on?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes. So I'm hoping like I should be able to have all my progress on the new Xbox, right? Like you think.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with Fortnite, but that's because it's linked to an Epic account. I don't know how.
But once again, like
Yeah.
that's what's so nice is I can go play Rocket League with my account wherever I want.
Avengers. I was thinking. So all the stuff I've done in
Oh, yeah,
Avengers.
that's a good
Am I gonna
point.
be? Is it gonna work?
Series
Is
X?
it
Oh
gonna
yeah,
be the same?
It will for Series X. I don't know about PS5
Yeah,
because
that's-
PS5
is it actually gonna work for? Like, am I gonna have
sure,
my
because
own
it's-
profile?
No, look, okay. Smart delivery just transfers the exact game to the Xbox Series X. Means you can have the same disc if you have a disc, and the game digitally will just transfer.
Well, and some games get
PlayStation-
updates and some don't. So it's
PlayStation
like-
is upgrading the game itself from
well,
PlayStation
so
4 to
it's weird
5.
because like PlayStation is taking the old school approach from the PS4 to Xbox
Where you can upgrade.
One thing where it was like, what did we get the first year of PS4? Last of Us Remastered, which had come out a year before on PS3, and they charged $60 again for a year-old game
And then you
for
got
the
Uncharted.
remastered version.
Call of Duty Ghosts.
I
like, had already come out
me
on
and
all
Hasten got
consoles.
PS3s literally the last year of its lifespan,
Yeah.
and so all those discs that we got on that
None
were
of them work.
useless after the first year. As soon as we got PS4s, it's like those were
My
useless.
PS3 was like the least played console ever.
Yeah,
I played it for 10 hours and then I like sat in my closet.
yeah, and that's the thing is that's what kind of sucks about that whole mindset. And they're doing it again, which is unfortunate. Like, and I get that that's their model, but they're doing it with Spider-Man. Like, there's Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is $50 on its own, but then for $70 you can get Spider-Man Miles Morales plus the remastered PS4 Spider-Man. So it's basically $20 for the remastered Spider-Man, which it's like, if this was Xbox, I would have that for
You would
free.
have the game.
I would have that for free.
Well, not just that. Like with the
It'd be on
PlayStation
Game Pass.
The
Yeah,
PlayStation
exactly.
collection thing they announced, it's got 10 games. They're like, the greatest PlayStation 4 games are on. It's like, okay, so you got God of War.
It is an awesome collection.
Which is
It
cool.
is.
But for what they're charging,
$60 a year.
I don't
It's not
Oh
so
yeah,
bad.
that's not bad at all.
for the games that are $10 that you could own for
Yeah,
that
but
price.
it's $60 a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
it's
and-
like it's something you pay for.
Plus-
already.
the thing is,
plus you have to
get
pay for it
PlayStation
online.
Plus
I-
games.
I think that's ridiculous for 10 games.
Well, you have to think
Old
about it
games.
this way. You have to think about it this way: it's essentially their games with gold. I've seen a lot of people be upset about it.
What
as
I'm
well,
saying is
but they're
real-
comparing it to Game Pass.
But real quick,
you have to compare it to the games.
Not
with
just
gold.
that. If you own God of War already, that God of War doesn't work.
Yeah, that
you have
is
to
lame.
get the one
I get
from
to replay
PlayStation
it
Collection.
actually and take my time.
That's what I think is the stupidest.
That is
thing.
dumb.
Because that's what
Yeah.
pissed me off. Is because I was like, oh well, I don't need to get that because all the games I have already.
Hmm.
It was like Uncharted, Last of Us.
Well,
God
so
of War,
here, to
Spider-Man.
be fair,
and then
I do
they're
wanna
like,
make it
no,
clear-
you got to rebuy.
To be fair, I do want to make it clear. We actually don't 100% know yet because PlayStation's being so weird. Like they haven't explained. Will I my PS4 disc of God of War? Can I put that in my PS5 and it play God of War?
Yeah, I don't know if they've
haven't
confirmed,
said
like, the
yes or no
disc
yet.
thing.
Yeah, they haven't
As
said
far
yes
as
or no yet.
digital though, like they've basically said that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, and that sucks, and that's why the digital thing.
But that's
scares
what
me
I
as
have
well.
it on.
Yeah,
You know.
but and that's another thing though is the PS5 collection. I do think is cool. Purely, it's not cool for someone like me because I have all those games already and I've played them. But for someone, think about someone that didn't have a PS4, who's now jumping up to get a PS5, you can get a PS5 and at launch for $60 for the year, plus, and that gives you your online profile and everything. It's getting like Xbox Live. For $60, you get all of the best PS4 games right at launch. Like that's
that would have been awesome for me when I bought my PS4.
Yeah,
because I would have
for
had,
the PS3.
Yeah, I would have had all those games, and then I would have had any game that launched on PS4 recently. Not recently, but within the last 2 years.
Well, and once again, they should have announced this a while ago. Because if I'm honest, if they would have announced this a year ago, I wouldn't have bought a PS4.
Yeah, you could have just waited.
I would have just waited. I'd have been like, oh, well, I can
Smart
play the
that
games.
they didn't announce it then, isn't it?
That's the thing. It's scummy. It's
got
scummy.
you.
They do it on purpose.
They got you.
Well, and then it makes me
Well,
question.
like Parker bought the Quest like a couple months
Right
ago, and
before
now they announced the
it
Quest
announced
2,
the 2.
and it's cheaper and it's better.
How is it cheap? That doesn't make any sense. Like
Just
how?
tech progresses,
That's so
things like
weird.
mass produce, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
The,
like
the
the
thing is
new
it's
PC
one of those things though where at some point
graphics
you have
cards.
to just upgrade because there's some people that like refuse to, and I get it. Like I get wanting to wait for the next big thing, but it's like there's always going to be the next big thing. Guarantee there's going to be a Series X 2.0 in 2-3 years. Like because they do these interstitial consoles just like they did with the One X.
Right.
So it's like if you could wait for that, but then you're waiting another 2-3 years,
it's like
and then once that comes out, you'll be like, I'll just wait for the next console.
Well, it's like with Parker right now. Like he's like, what should I get? Should I get the Series S or the Series X? I'm like, get the Series X because then you don't have to upgrade for a long time. Because if you get the Series S, you're gonna have to upgrade in like a year or two.
Yeah.
You know? And you're gonna be like, oh well, now I have to get the Series XS. It's like, well, that sucks.
The X, if you get the X, you'll have an Xbox for probably
5 years.
Well, you'll have it its whole lifespan,
Yeah.
really. But if you don't upgrade to that new one, like the Xbox One S did, then you probably got 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So
Like for example, like with the Xbox One generation, I did one upgrade. So did Tanner, right? It just
I never did.
Well, you have the Xbox One S, right?
you
you
bought mine
don't?
for 150.
Oh wow!
And
So you just have
literally
the
had the
you have the
original
OG
X-
Xbox.
And not just
my,
that,
holy crap!
from launch
It's
day.
the launch day Xbox One.
That's crazy.
And it has worked this whole time.
So that's the thing, though, right?
kind
Is
of. You
like,
have to lift it up if you have a disc.
not anymore. I have it
you
just
fixed
elevated.
it.
well, and he doesn't ever put in discs anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Exactly.
But that's the thing is like you're still running on the OG Xbox. I've only upgraded once with the S, and I'm completely satisfied. Like I don't.
I
don't
like the S.
Yeah,
I
like
would,
it's
I would
fun.
upgrade, I've thought about upgrading to the X, and I'm like, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Series X comes out later this year.
Exactly.
But yeah, now is the time.
Now is the time. Yeah, exactly.
Because like if I didn't upgrade to the Series X and I didn't have a PC already, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just playing Xbox, the original Xbox One. That would be awful.
Yeah.
Playing like Halo.
I'm
Infinite,
hoping this new Xbox gets you off of PC, so that we can play.
it won't. Well, it'll be crossplay. If it's any game that we could play, we'll already be able to play it together. That's what I love about this. All the new console stuff.
It's bringing everything
Crossplay
together.
and cross progression. I don't have to switch to different consoles. I can't wait
Yeah.
for that.
The comparison I was going to bring up that I just remembered from earlier that I saw someone bring up online was that too many people are looking at it as such a competition to where it's like only one can exist. Who will it be? PlayStation or Xbox? Who will win the generation? And it's like there's room for both.
There's room for both.
And
There's a lot of people that buy both.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's
people,
that buy either.
And think about products outside of video game consoles and how there's always competition. Think
There's
about two of the
Apple,
biggest,
Samsung.
Coke and Pepsi.
Yeah.
Like you can have two huge brands doing basically the
works.
same thing and it works. It's like it doesn't have to be just one or the other. Like I don't understand the need for it to be like I'm only PlayStation, I refuse to do Xbox, or I'm only Xbox, I refuse to do PlayStation, because it's like, heck, get a PlayStation, you get a bunch of great exclusive games. Get an Xbox, and you have the best value, best bang for your buck with Game Pass. Like, it's insane.
They
the value
both
of
have
this.
their values to both consoles.
Mhm.
It's like what
Get a Switch, play Zelda.
Yeah, get a Switch, and once again, you have the most unique experience,
Yeah.
for sure. Dude, I love the freaking Switch, too. The Switch is
great.
amazing. I'm really hoping...
I'm hoping that when they announce the 4K version, it's like a screen that's like this big.
I do, too. I hope
with
it's a
like
big
bigger,
screen.
like bigger Joy-Cons. I don't know.
Gorilla freaking Joy-Cons.
I want it to be like this big.
I want it to be like iPad size.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that if they announce a new Switch, it'll be docked only.
I think so, too.
I think so. I hope not.
I hope not.
They
also.
announced the Switch Lite.
I will not buy that.
Yeah.
The Switch Lite was literally like a year and a half ago. They've already announced a fully portable one. Now they're gonna do a fully docked one.
I don't think
That's
so
why
because
it's
I
4K.
think
It would,
I think
it would defeat
most
the whole purpose
people-
of the Switch.
I think
yeah.
most people play
because it's portable.
portably though. I
Yeah.
feel like How do you play your thing on TV more or portably more?
I do a combination. The thing is, for
I guess
me,
you're
is
probably not the right one to ask.
Yeah.
But
90% of people use it portably.
portably. Yes,
I
absolutely.
literally haven't put mine in my dock until I played Zelda.
My dock isn't even plugged in.
911. No, I'm just kidding. What?
My dock isn't even plugged in. I don't know the last time my dock's been plugged in.
Oh, really?
Like,
Well,
it doesn't even have an HDMI or a power cord connected to it.
The thing is like, so let's pretend that Nintendo does announce a docked only Switch, and it's 4K. It's the best. We'll say it's on par with Xbox One, PS4 graphics. Would you guys get something like that?
Here's the thing: is if they do that, Xbox One, PS4, they'd have to have something worthwhile, you know? Because if they're just like, oh, it's the same games we've already had, it's like, well, I already have those games on Xbox that are at that frame rate, and plus, it's
Yeah,
like, will Mario look that much better?
I just worry,
You know?
that knowing Nintendo, what if they're like, hey, 4K Switch next
Breath of
year,
the Wild's
Breath of the
exclusive.
Wild 2 exclusive to it. Like, if they pull some crap like that, then I'm gonna have to get it. But I really hope they don't. Because the biggest reason I love the Switch is because I really do use the name of the Switch all the time. The Switch. Like, I literally will dock it, undock it. It's amazing. Like, I love that about it. I play, like, when I do competitive Smash, I dock it and play with the GameCube controller. If I just want to just casually play it, I sit in bed and I can play it laying down.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Like, to get rid of that aspect of it would seem so weird.
But I think that's why they'd give you the option, you know, because they have the normal Switch, Switch Lite, and then they'll have the Pro Switch, which the Pro Switch is docked only, you know.
Yeah, but then are there going to be exclusive games to it? Because
I don't know. They didn't do that with the Switch Lite. They
Yeah,
weren't like, oh, exclusive.
but there
Mario.
are some games that you can't play on the Switch Lite.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't have a docked mode.
Yeah, but so think about if they
Really?
announce. Yeah, it's weird. Like Mario Party, Super Mario Party, the Switch Lite. Like, I don't think you can play it on there.
Well, you can play it, or you can put it in your console and it boots up, but you can't do anything.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't work.
Yeah, it's weird because you have to have the detached.
There's a
Joy-Cons.
couple other games.
Oh
where it
no,
literally
you
doesn't
can
work.
play it, but you have to have your own detached Joy-Cons. Like,
Oh yeah, you have to
Oh,
connect.
yeah,
your
you
own.
have to connect them.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's if there was a 4K Switch, and Nintendo doesn't have to do it to compete, obviously, like with PS5 and Xbox, because they're all doing their own thing, like we've said.
Yeah.
But if they did,
If they did a 4K Switch, it's the same thing as a normal Switch, and then they upgrade the screen to like a 10-inch screen. Maybe
I would get that.
I would get that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do wonder though if they do a docked only one. Let's say they do a docked only one, but you can play all the games still portably. Like, there's no exclusives to it. Then I question if I'd get it. Like, I'd probably get it at some
I
point.
think it'd struggle if they did that. I
But
don't think a
what
lot of
price
people
point
would.
could they come in at to do that? Like, I feel like it would have to be like
350?
$200. Like, for only a dock? Like, think about...
It
But if
has
it's
to be cheap.
But if it's
Yeah.
4K,
It has still have to be cheap.
Yeah,
I
but it
think.
still have to be cheap because $300, you could get a Series S instead. You know what I mean?
250.
250, I
200?
can see. Yeah, I feel like 250 is
Stay
the
at-
max.
stay
they
at
I mean,
what
could
the
Switch
do.
Lite
Lite.
is.
Switch Lite's 200.
Yeah. So if they did a docked only one, it's like 250.
Maybe
Because
200.
a docked, you're not even putting a screen on there.
Yeah.
You don't have.
That's
yeah,
true.
it would literally
it's
just be
literally
a,
a
box
tiny box.
That's true.
that you could put your cartridge
That's
in.
not even as powerful as Xbox One X.
And what if they made it to where it didn't come with controllers too? Get the controller cost out of there. So it's like, here's just the dock. And then
They
you,
could do
you get,
100
you
use
get
your
your
current-
Joy-Con
You can
separate.
use your Joy.
They could do
100
like
bucks.
$150. I
That would be
literally think
awesome.
They could do that.
And I would definitely get it in that case, because then I could be like, okay, I'll use that for when I want to play the game docked, and then I just will use my old dock as the charging station for
Yeah.
my portable Switch. That would be ideal.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Any other things in the console discussion that you guys can think about?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not really a console war, so it's weird this year. You know, but
it is.
um,
Where are you guys like leaning right now? Like in terms of which one do you think you're gonna play more, at least to start? Obviously, I think we're all gonna lean towards Xbox for third-party stuff, but
No.
to start,
on day one,
mm-hmm.
Sony, because I'm gonna play Spider-Man.
yeah,
You know,
Once again, like, there's still no reason for me for either of them right now. Like, to get them at launch. Like, for me, it's like easy. Wait a year. And
Wait
then
till
and
God
then,
of War.
and then it's PlayStation 5. Because the Xbox has made it so easy for me. Because the thing is in a year or two, I'll get a Series S and I'll just take it portably. Literally. Like, I'll take it to, like, Gracie's house, Grandma's house. It's gonna be so small I can just literally carry it in my hand.
Dude, I wanted to
I don't
bring
know
up.
if that's how that
Yeah,
works.
I know.
It's literally this big.
Well, I know, but you need your like wires and everything.
Yeah.
It's not like you just,
Two
like,
wires. Two
It'd be
wires.
kind of a pain. I feel
and
like.
I just get like.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to bring up cloud gaming, the xCloud, because
I don't want to talk about it. I have an iPhone.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh.
I tried it the other day and it ran really well.
Yeah.
Like I
want
did
it to
Arkham
work.
Knight, and Arkham Knight did not run good. It was so cool though to freaking I was like playing Arkham Knight on my phone.
Is it
Straight-
Are you
because
playing
of the-
touchscreen?
No, so I was holding it and then I just used my controller like
Yeah.
this.
Is it because of
But-
the like scale of Arkham Knight?
I think so. I don't know what it was with Arkham Knight, but it did not.
Was it
run
when you were
well.
like gliding?
It was when I was gliding. As soon as I
Okay.
jumped off the building, it was like
Where were you?
Yeah, because it's
Where
it's,
were you?
like, in the city.
in the city.
When
No,
there's
like where were you?
Oh, in my room.
Oh, you were in your room.
Yeah.
that makes sense because like it's having to render in all the freaking cityscape and the
Yeah.
But it
skybox.
needs
And
to be
that-
able to do that.
And that was on Wi-Fi, so that was a little concerning. But then if I also booted up Hollow Knight, which is like more of an indie game, and that run like almost perfect smooth.
See, that's the weird thing is because like I've seen a lot of reviews for it, and so far it's been really positive because people have played like Sea of Thieves, and Sea of Thieves is a graphically great game, and it. I
It's
mean,
got
big
those
game.
kind of graphics though that are easy
yeah,
to run.
but it
You know.
ran perfectly, like beautifully, from what I've heard. Like it
Yeah.
didn't have any issues.
I-
Granted, though, it's an Xbox game, which means they might have like
Optimized
optimized
Yeah,
it
for
for
sure.
Series
That's a good
X.
point.
Because like Arkham Knight, it's not optimized
No.
for. They didn't
It's
when
not
they
even-
made
it's
it.
not even optimized for PC.
Yeah.
Because when they made Arkham Knight, they weren't thinking, someday there's going to be
This is
a
gonna be on
cloud
xCloud,
gaming.
yeah.
It's like, so, yeah. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
I bet you that's part of the case. And then I tell you what though, if xCloud can run Arkham Knight, stuff like Arkham Knight, well, I will be 100%
Competition
in.
for a
I'm,
Switch.
I'm so pissed off at Apple right now about that. Like whole XCloud. Like,
Oh,
why
yeah.
can't I
Yeah,
use
it's
my
so lame.
XCloud on my freaking iPad?
Well, dude, it pisses
my
Apple's
12 inch.
so
I,
lame.
I could just take my iPad anywhere
Oh, that'd be
with
so
my
cool.
controller, and I have Xbox.
It's so annoying.
It pisses
Dude,
me off.
and like xCloud, and then even Stadia, you can't play on iPhone. Like you can't play literally anything because they're like Apple Arcade.
Freaking Stadia, I forgot they existed.
Apple Arcade. Because like Stadia, I've been getting a bunch of ads for it, and they're like, "We're free right now," and I'm like, "I want to try it, but I can't because I have a fucking iPhone." It's so
Can't do
lame.
anything with
I'm
iPhone
honestly
right now. It's
considering
really-
just trading in my
I've
phone
thought
and getting
about
a
it too,
freaking
but
Google
the thing is,
Pixel
I
or
use
something.
so many Apple products.
Yeah,
Like I have my
it's-
watch. I have a freaking iPad. They all work together really well.
Yeah.
I just want you to be able to play games.
You could just get an
Why?
Android that separate, like
Why is
not
Apple
have
so
a phone
anti,
plan
though?
for it? It would cost money, but
yeah.
It'd suck.
I want to get
It's
the. I kind of thought about
He'd have to get a phone plan on it if he wanted to play it outside
like
of
outside,
his house.
or outside of Wi-Fi. Like you would play it at grandma's.
I want them to come out with the flip phones. Now that friggin' Samsung did that like flip thing where it flips open and you have like a tablet basically in your phone.
That
Like,
is cool.
Apple's rumored to be working on that for next year's iPhone, but like, come on.
I would like just a like you could get a Android. What are the like Note or something like the
Oh, yeah,
really
they
big ones?
could.
You could just get something like that, and then just use it purely off Wi-Fi
The thing is with those though, is like they haven't made a new one of those
in a long time.
in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So you'd be getting a really old one, and you'd be like, "All
Probably
right,
get
have
it cheap,
fun
though.
playing XCloud
Yeah.
on the crappiest tablet ever."
Dude, I just really hope it somehow comes to Switch, because if it does, that would be a game changer. Like holy crap. That would be amazing if I could just boot up the Game Pass app on my Switch and then freaking play Arkham Knight.
It would be
streamed.
huge.
I think
for both companies.
each company has one more conference left, and I think each of them have one more big announcement. I don't know what it is.
I think Nintendo's.
I think
done.
they're both done. I think they're all done.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think
I
Xbox
agree with
definitely has
Hayes.
it.
Oh, I think Xbox. I'll take that back. I think Xbox has some.
I
But
think Xbox
PlayStation
and
does.
PlayStation both have one.
Yeah, because you still got
Yeah.
2 months to launch. I think there'll be one. I think they'll have an October one, like maybe mid October, and then Xbox will have one similar mid or late October.
PlayStation will have one talking about their hardware and like their
I could see.
plans for VR, maybe their plans for like their online, any new gimmicks and stuff, and then that's it.
I could see that, but would they announce a new game? I don't feel like they would.
As far as games, I think they're
Because
good.
like PlayStation at this point, we basically know their schedule for the next year.
The truth
and a
is
half.
at this point, PlayStation is stretching as many announcements as they can.
They're doing what
like,
they did
They're like,
before,
"Fuck,
yeah."
we didn't have an announcement. Let's just announce God of War. We know it's coming out. God of War.
Okay, so I wanted
It's
to
kind
talk
of like
about that.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
They're like, Metroid Prime 4 in 5 years.
I did want to talk about
Zelda,
that because
we haven't
5
really
more
started
years.
yet.
God of War has the release date of 2021. Do you guys believe that that's going to happen?
No.
Because I don't. I don't
Yes,
think
I
it'll
want
happen.
it to happen.
I want it to happen. Don't
If
get
it
me wrong, that'd be
happens,
amazing.
it's the end of 2021. It's like December.
But even then, yeah, well,
Even
for
then,
sure.
that's still crazy.
That's so soon. That's a year. Like,
God of War came out.
well, God of War 1 came out
Year and a half
April
ago.
2018. So that would be, if it came out fall next year, that would be 3.5 years.
With that scale of game, I
With
don't
that-
know if that's enough development.
Yeah. I've seen...
Especially
I mean,
on the
they
new
did it with
console where
Uncharted.
they're getting used to new stuff. Like, I
Uh-huh.
don't know if that's enough time.
Unless
But
it's
they
a
probably
PS4 game,
they've
too.
been developing it for the PS5 since. who
Or
knows
maybe
how
they
long.
were developing it for the PS4.
And they're just porting
and they're
it
porting
over.
it to the PS5, which is a legit possibility
True.
because that's kind of the
Which,
case.
and
with
another
Miles
thing is,
Morales.
what if they're using the same
But they did that with
open
Engine
world?
and everything?
They
an
did that with
engine?
Uncharted 4 and it worked out. It was made for the PS3 and then they ported it to the. They remade it for the PS4.
Uncharted 4?
Mhm.
No, Uncharted 4 came out like 3 years after the
Wasn't it a
PS4.
launch exclusive?
No.
No.
Or a launch title?
I think you might be thinking of Lost Legacy or something, but no. Yeah, Uncharted 4 came out 2016, so like 3 years
There was
That's
no.
what I heard something
Uncharted
about.
4 or PlayStation 4 had like no launch.
One
They
of
had
the
knack.
Yeah, it was like nothing.
one of the Uncharted 2, one of them was made for the
know.
previous console and then they did the same thing. Like they've done. I mean, they
You might
did
be
that with
thinking
games.
Last of Us,
Oh,
Last of Us did it. Yeah. Last of Us was made for PS3 and then they ported it to PS4.
like right away. But
That's the thing.
it is weird because God of War, like that was the most hype announcement for me at that conference. That was amazing. But I don't believe that it'll be 2021.
When you
And-
saw 2021, did you cream?
Yes. Oh my God. Dude, no, legit. I was like, there's no way. I saw that. I was like, there's
Here's
no
my issue,
way.
Is I hope they're not just pulling our leg and they're like just saying that to get hype generated.
Yeah.
Because
no, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm worried
too.
they're thinking like we know it's not coming out in 2021. They're like, but let's just say it so people get hyped.
Well,
But we're gonna delay
a
it.
couple things. God of War. So like PlayStation is notorious for announcing their games super far in advance. That's what they did for the entire PS4 generation.
They did.
And so I'm wondering if maybe, hopefully, I'm hoping that they're actually ready. Because yeah, I hope they don't pull this crap where they're just announcing it and then we'll see it in 5 years.
Well, it's like
But
the bull
maybe-
crap how Destiny 2, they announced their new expansion. They're like September 10th, and literally 2 weeks later they're like actually November 11th for no reason. And then we find out, well, the Xbox is launching that day too. So it's like that was the reason. They could have just announced it for that day in the first place. But anyway, well,
Well,
Yeah.
I think what was I forgot what I was gonna say. Now.
I did too.
So-
I totally
no,
blanked what I was going to. No, you're good. What
they're
was it?
pulling the bull crap about.
Oh yeah, well maybe they're just like I'm hoping that there's a possibility that if you remember, so Arkham Asylum came out 2009, Arkham City came out 2011, 2 years later. Ever since then though, games have been getting like their sequels have taken so much longer.
Oh, yeah.
Like between Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2 it was 7 years. Between Uncharted
Arkham-
3 and Uncharted 4 it was 5 years. So
Arkham City, Arkham Knight.
City, Arkham Knight, it was 4 years, yeah. But like there was a time where
Sequels.
the sequels would come out within a
Consistently.
couple of years. I'm hoping maybe that there's a possibility maybe like God of War
They're trying to go
2
back to that.
is not as big as like I don't know, not that
a true sequel.
or like no, I'm fine with it being a true sequel, but like maybe instead of 30 hours it's 20.
what I mean is
and
it,
it's
it
like,
could be
I'd
the difference.
fine
It
with
could be
that.
the difference between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
Yeah.
They're still hugely different, but they're not drastically different as from Arkham City to Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Because between Arkham City and Arkham Knight, the engine changed,
Everything
the graphics changed. But with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City,
It's the
just got
same-
Bigger,
it's like the same
It's a
engine.
true sequel,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's not the difference between Elder Scrolls 4 and Elder Scrolls 5, and then
Yeah,
Elder Scrolls 5
exactly.
to 6.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it's like maybe God of War Ragnarok is
They're trying to do a
the
more
exact same
consistent-
engine of the first one, and because they did that, they were able to make it faster. And I'd be fine with that honestly, because
It looks so good. It
Don't
doesn't-
break what isn't, or don't fix what isn't broken. You know?
Especially if it's successful, because the thing is people underestimate that people can lose hype for something. Because it happened with Halo. Halo, from Halo Reach to Halo 4, it took so long, and it was like the hype lost itself. And ever since then, Halo's not been the same. Halo used to be one of the biggest games ever, like, and now it's lost a lot of its luster because they did that. Because if they can keep the hype with God of War, because if they wait too long and they're like, 5 years until the next God of War, people will lose hype for it. And
Yeah.
then when it comes out, it's lackluster, and then they're like, and then
Well,
it goes from there.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I think is going to happen with PS4 is God of War. I think it's going to get delayed till spring 2022.
I think so too, for sure.
At least.
I think it's a
At least.
I honestly think it might be a fall 2022 game, but I think possible spring 2022. No way it's Q4 2021.
Yeah.
And if they come out like later, like in their next comments, they're like, oh yeah, it's spring 2021. I'm gonna lose my shiz.
Yeah, I'm like, no way. Dude.
Well, if
No
that's
freaking
true, though,
way.
then we know that it's like a pretty rushed sequel.
Well, not rushed, but maybe more along the lines of Miles Morales, where it's like a spin-off. Or not a spin-off, but like...
Not like...
Not a full...
Because Miles Morales is a sequel, kind of.
Here's the thing.
It's in
Miles
the same
Morales,
tone as
Lost Legacy. It's a
10
glorified
hours.
DLC.
Pre-sequel.
Which was a good game, but it wasn't Spider-Man.
There's games like,
It
pre-sequel.
wasn't Uncharted 4.
Lost
yeah.
Legacy.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm actually
Origins.
fine with stuff like Uncharted Lost Legacy. If we could
Thank
get...
you.
Like, imagine if
More
Naughty
stuff
Dog was
like
just
that.
like, hey, we're making an Uncharted Lost Legacy style game every 2 years. Like, that would be
The thing
awesome.
is, it's such a smart...
Plus, we're
totally.
still developing all of our
Plus,
stuff.
we have another studio that's developing
Yeah.
the long-term one that's coming out in 5-6 years, you know?
I think it's a smart business model. Get a separate studio to start working on the smaller
That's the
game.
same engine,
Yeah,
everything.
same engine,
Yeah.
like in Arkham Origins, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
it's just, it's better because it keeps people interested in the property. You
Yeah.
know? Because otherwise people lose interest. Like, this is my issue, is like with Elder Scrolls. There's been so many times during the last 10 years that I've been excited for Elder Scrolls 6, but then I
Feels
lose
so
the
bad
hype.
for you
It's like,
guys.
then I lose the hype. So by the time it comes out, I hope I'm hyped for it. Because I might be in one of those
I'm
Yeah.
going
moments
to
where
be
I'm
so
not hyped.
hyped that, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to contain
It's
it.
one of
But
those
here's
things
what
though, where
scares me:
it's like,
is Elder
yeah,
Scrolls 6 is going to come out. Even if it's even good, I will know for a fact the next Elder Scrolls won't be for 20 plus more years. So I'll be like, oh, I gotta enjoy this one because it's never coming out again. You know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah,
if you
I
wait
want-
too long, you get people where they start resenting it. They start not wanting.
Well,
to
and I
move
wish
on.
more studios would, and this is part of like the public's problem, like consumers' problems, not so much the devs. But it's like I wish devs and studios would realize that it's okay to maybe make a game not huge, like it can be a bit smaller, because like I think gamers demand that the game be super long, so in order to get their money's worth. But it's like Uncharted: Lost Legacy, I was totally fine paying $40 for that.
Yeah.
Like, that was a great experience. I'm totally fine if there's more games like that, but I feel like for a lot of devs, it's like it has to be like the jump from Last of Us 1 to Last of Us 2,
Right.
and if it's not like that, it's not good enough.
Well, and even like Destiny, which is a live service game, the model they've had up until now was every other year they had a major expansion, which was basically like the next game in the series. It added a bunch of new stuff. And then the next year they just do a smaller expansion, right? Because it keeps people interested. It's not as big. It's only $40 instead of $50. But it's still big enough to where people are like, oh yeah, this property. I love this property. You know? Because like with Uncharted, that's what kept people interested with Lost. They were like, oh yeah, Lost Legacy. I love Uncharted. Uncharted 4? Oh yeah, I love the Lost Legacy. You know, like if they do that, because with Spider-Man Miles Morales, they're probably working on Spider-Man 2. They're probably not.
Yeah.
just
Oh,
gonna-
yeah.
They're probably
They-
not like,
for
oh yeah,
sure.
Miles Morales is it. So
Yeah.
they're like, okay, Miles Morales will get people like, oh yeah, we love the Spider-Man universe, the Spider-Man property.
well, and it's a great
And
selling
maybe
point for the
you know
PS5.
what would be cool is if they did Spider-Man 2 after Miles Morales, and then they did, because I think Venom's rumored to be the new villain in Spider-Man. The
Oh,
new
really?
Spider-Man. I don't know for sure.
The
but
movie or game?
The game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And then I think maybe like a Venom
Game?
game after that,
Mm,
like
pretty
kind of
cool.
like a Miles Morales.
See, yeah,
Venom
that-
game.
you're
And then
right.
Spider-Man 3.
And they, with this new spin-off thing they're doing, they could totally do. They could do literally Spider-Man Venom. You know, like
Yeah.
Spider-Man Miles Morales,
Yeah.
and have those be like the spin-offs where it's like focuses on some separate character.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool.
I just
idea,
think that
actually.
because like even movies do that shit with like
Yeah.
Star Wars. They had like
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
yeah, but they had like Star Wars episode 9.
Rogue One.
Yeah, and then Rogue One, and then Solo, and then
Yeah.
episode 9.
It'd be cool if games did that more often. Yeah, but there, I think there's no way that this next God of War is like a spin-off.
No,
It has to be
with God of War.
too.
I don't think they can.
Especially because it is teasing Ragnarok, which it's like they're not going to put Ragnarok in a spin-off like that.
the
is-
worst part of the.
Yeah, it's like that's going to be the full sequel, and with like the dialogue we were hearing from Kratos and stuff, it's like it's going to be the next one for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Destiny New Light. Is that gonna announce crossplay?
So as of right now, they're doing intergenerational crossplay because I guess they've had some issues.
What does that
They
mean?
didn't. So it's just like
Will
Xbox
PC
One.
be able to play with Series X?
No.
fuck?
I know.
They
So
need to announce. They need to get that.
when they talked about it in their conference, they said that there are certain companies that are not allowing it, which is totally Sony. Sony just doesn't like crossplay.
Yeah, it's weird.
100%, because it's not Microsoft. It's definitely not Microsoft being like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, they
There's
signed a
one
big deal
time.
with them. Like, there's no way it's Microsoft.
It's Sony.
Did you guys hear the rumors?
Well,
I
like-
mean, it's not happening, but they denied them. But like that, Microsoft was
Was gonna
considering
buy
buy
Bungie.
Bungie. Like that would have been crazy.
Well, so from what it sounds like is I don't know if it's true, but
It would've
they
been-
I
did, they
imagine-
denied it. The
they
directors
deny
of
it.
Bungie,
They
yeah.
deny it anyway, even if it was true.
Mhm.
The thing is
Maybe
that
that's what they want in their next conference. Like, oh yeah, we bought Bungie.
Bungie's
that'd
too
be-
big at this
that'd
point.
be, and it would be like, why would they do that? It would be like the full circle thing where it's like you were already owned by them at one point. Now
They're
you're
not
going
too
Now you're
big.
rebuying
They're not
them?
too big
Yeah.
for Microsoft to buy them though.
No,
I don't know.
they're not,
Here's the
but-
thing: is like that was the rumor, is that Bungie's price was too high, because honestly, Bungie has already said they're trying to become a publisher
Yeah.
instead of a developer.
I don't know why they wouldn't want to do that.
Here's
anyway.
why though: so many games try to copy Destiny's model. Anthem tried to, Division tried to, because Destiny is a huge property for any console. Honestly, like it's the only like space looter shooter multiplayer game that's out there that's popular, you know, and so everyone's trying to get in on that. That's why they made Anthem and stuff, and then it flops, and so I wouldn't be
You
surprised.
get it
that
for
Microsoft-
$2 at GameStop right now, just so you guys know.
I wouldn't be
Not Destiny.
surprised.
Yeah,
Destiny's
yeah,
free.
yeah.
Destiny's free.
So just play Destiny.
And not only that, Beyond Light is going to be free on Game Pass, which is nuts.
Yeah.
The brand new
I don't have to
expansion.
spend another $60 on Destiny 2.
That is insane, because it is technically a launch
Title for Series X, yeah.
Yeah.
and free. It's free too. You can play the brand new $50 expansion for free, and I
Yeah.
already freaking pre-ordered it. So, and at the collector's
Just
edition.
cancel it.
What's the collector's
Oh.
edition? I want it.
As much as I like Xbox buying studios, I wouldn't want Bungie necessarily to, because like, why would they do that? Like, Bungie's they left Activision so
done
they
so
could
good.
get out of them being
Yeah.
controlled by someone
They
else.
don't, and they even
So-
they broke their contract with PlayStation, because they had a contract with PlayStation to be a pseudo exclusive where they would have DLC come out
Doing all the
first.
commercials for them and stuff.
And they'd have like exclusive weapons and items and stuff, and they were like, no more of that. They're like, we're our own thing. So they wouldn't do that and then be like, we're getting bought by Microsoft now.
It would just be such a weird full circle thing. Like, they start out
They
at
drop
Microsoft,
them.
then they're like, F this, we're out. And then they're owned by Activision, then they're like, F this, we're out. And then, oh, hey, yeah, you can buy us again, Microsoft.
All right,
Like, what are you doing?
Hey, old
They're just
friend.
making bank.
But could
Because they just keep selling.
Getting bought and then sold.
What if I think 343 is great, but imagine if Microsoft did buy them and they're like, they're making
Make
the
Halo.
next Halo.
They're making the next
They're like, F you 343.
You're gonna make. You're
gonna make Destiny.
Gears. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like 343. You could just not make anything. You guys suck.
We're actually shutting you guys down.
Yeah, you guys have
I feel
made
bad
3
for
Halo
the-
games that suck.
I feel bad for 343. I feel like they're actually a good studio.
Thing
but
is they got
they just get compared to Bungie is the problem.
And here's the issue: they had really big shoes to fill.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause
That's the problem.
Bungie left, and Microsoft was like, "Do you guys
Well,
know how to make a
it's
Halo
like-
game?" And they're like,
It's like
we
WB
could try."
Montreal. It's like WB Montreal to Rocksteady. It's like you're not going to make something as good as them, but you can try. And like I love what they did, but a lot of people don't, and it's kind of the same with Halo. It's
Yeah.
too bad.
When especially when Bungie made Halo Reach, but the last sequel they made was Halo 3, which is considered one of the best games of all time. And then they're like, "Okay, you have to make a sequel to the best game of all time." And they're like, "Okay, let's do
Okay,
this."
we've never worked on this engine, or we don't know the characters,
And
but
we've-
we'll give it a shot.
And we've never made a
Mas-
game.
Master
we've,
who?
We've never made a game before ever, so we're gonna start with Halo 4.
Yeah, Xbox does that quite a bit because even like the Gears team, they did the same thing when Epic left from Gears of War, and they're like, "Let's build a new studio. You're in charge of Gears now."
Like Master Chief. Oh no, we're gonna make 4 new characters that no one cares about.
Master Chief? Do you mean Locke?
Yeah, you mean Spartan Locke?
Spartan Locke and Cortana's the face of the franchise now.
Yeah, and she's now the Microsoft face too. We don't care.
People
about
like
her.
Cortana though, right?
Yeah, people like
Yeah, I was gonna-
Generally, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
but not as much as Master Chief.
Oh yeah, sure. But
It's comparisons between Mario and Luigi, because people aren't like, "Oh, people like Luigi, right?" Yeah, but he's not the face of Nintendo.
Luigi is the best though. Let's be real.
But he's not the face
No, I
of it.
know, I
People
know.
would be like, "Super Luigi Bros."
Oh, dude, I'd love
Super
that.
Luigi 3D
I
All
mean,
Stars.
technically, there was one in the year of Luigi.
Yeah.
But anything else? Do you want to talk about some of the games that were announced at the PS5 conference? Because there was some new ones.
The Hogwarts game.
Oh
Yeah, we
my
did talk about
gosh,
it, yeah.
the Hogwarts. I'm actually hyped
Hogwarts
for
Legacy.
that.
It looks
Yeah.
freaking
Looks
awesome.
awesome.
And it's
It
made by
does look
Avalanche
sick.
Studios
Salt Lake
in
City.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're downtown.
Are they hiring?
I know.
I
yeah,
checked.
I can't do any programming. or
I don't know
anything, but-
anything. About
It's funny.
I can
haven't
help you
checked.
creatively.
They're hiring like art directors and stuff.
They
but I don't.
They actually
draw.
are hiring. Yeah, but
Well, I
it's
checked.
all,
They don't have anything we could do.
No, yeah, it's all like programmers.
You'd have to have. You had to be an artist, programmer. And so I'm
It's
an
like, can I
artist.
just go
We,
and
we make
hang
art
out?
every week.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
listens to our art. It's like, can I just go in and just sit in there and just
Yeah,
like?
I
hang
hope
out?
they announced J.K. Rowling's not working for him, which is
So
great.
then people don't boycott the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, they have said that J.K. Rowling doesn't have anything to do with it.
yeah, they said that. But
She gave them their
I'm,
blessing.
What,
I
what
guess.
do you guys want from this game?
Exactly
you-
what it sounds
What do
like.
Yeah,
you
exactly
want it
what
to
it
be?
sounds
I
like.
want
It
it to be
sounds
like
awesome.
literally an RPG.
That's what it
Harry
sounds
Potter
like.
that you
Just
can walk
from what
around
it-
Hogwarts.
From
I
what
do
it sounds like
actually.
too, it might be an MMO with massive multiplayer.
See, I don't
online.
want that.
I
want
think
it
that'd
to
be sick.
I want it to be like a Skyrim,
But then we
in
could
Harry
play it
Potter.
together.
Yeah.
But then we could all play together, doing spells. And
I don't think it'll be
See, I think
multiplayer.
I'm fine with the single player. Like
People
story
pointed out
experience.
that the trailer doesn't have true gameplay, but it does have gameplay cutscenes.
yeah, it does.
And from what it looks like, there's multiple students.
Oh, the trailer. Okay.
Yeah, there's multiple students in the trailer that seem to be player controlled. Like they don't seem like they're just like AI.
Yeah, I don't know what's. I don't.
So we'll
I
see.
want it to be. They said 2021, right?
Yeah, next year.
Whoa.
Which is awesome.
Again,
The
It's
music
2020.
cue at the end of that trailer gave me goosebumps because all of a sudden it does the Harry
Epic
Potter and it's like
dun,
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 dun, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, that
dun,
was
and it
sick.
shows the
like
guy
an epic
standing on the
version.
hill and looking over at Hogwarts.
what's
And I was
cool is
like,
I'm not even like a big Harry Potter guy, but I was like,
I
oh,
love
that
Harry
game
Potter,
looks
dude.
sick.
And the
Yeah.
fact that it takes place in the 1800s
Yeah,
is
that's
so
cool. Like, it's,
much
like,
cooler
way
because it's
old.
not modern day. There's no like cell
No-
phones,
no
no,
Harry-
modern day kids.
no Harry Potter, none of them. Yeah,
Just like-
Literally just so that's why I think they're gonna make it so like you create your wizard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I bet you'll play as your own created. You're not gonna play as somebody. You're gonna play as your wizard.
yeah. I want more details because we don't really know what it is.
Good comparison. I think it'll be like Skyrim. I think.
I
it'll be
hope
like
it
a
is. I
Skyrim
hope it's like a
type.
Skyrim
I think that'd be cool.
Where
that's like
you
you walk
are-
around Hogwarts and pick up missions.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
like you are the Dovahkiin or like the chosen one, and then
Well,
you get
I
spells.
kind of
and-
want it just to be like almost you're not a nobody, but like you're a
Yeah.
nobody that rises to
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Because like they even talk about in the trailer, it's like you can go to class and master spells, and I'm like, that sounds awesome. Like I've always wanted to go to Hogwarts,
Be in
like, for
Hogwarts.
real.
But
So,
it, what if you just go to class and it's like
It's real
press
class.
X and Y, and then you listen to an hour and a half speech?
Like, can you imagine?
it's like,
Actually, like class.
it's a
and you're
lecture. You're like falling asleep.
You're like,
in class.
actually, Hogwarts sucks.
I hate Hogwarts. It's just like a life
I
simulator
love-
at Hogwarts.
I mean,
loved
I would
in the
actually still like that, but-
I loved in the trailer how they called the Fantastic Beasts too.
Yeah.
How they were like,
And Fantastic
"Dis- potions
Beasts."
and discover Fantastic Beasts. That made me get like, because like the
So
the
cool.
beasts
cool to
they
find a
showed,
ton of beasts. Yeah.
and people noticed in the background, there's a bunch of like hints to like the Harry Potter
Oh, yeah,
universe,
like
and,
Hogsmeade.
even like monsters and spells and stuff.
Well,
Was there
there's
any characters that are alive then in Harry Potter now?
I'm wondering
Because I think
Dumbledore
like
might
Hagrid
be.
maybe.
But Dumbledore was
Dumbledore
he's
might
like
be.
160,
Yeah.
so it was like 2000.
Dumbledore might
So
be
he
like
sh-
a
he
little
should
kid in
be.
it, but I don't know. It's gonna be close because it said late 1800s. We don't know if that's
But
1870.
I mean,
or 1890.
Grindelwald could be
Yeah,
in
they're-
there.
They all could be because Grindelwald and young Dumbledore are in Fantastic Beasts 2, which is
But that's
set in like
1940.
1920. No, it's like 1920s or 30s.
How old is he?
He's like in
Dumbledore
his
is like in his
30s
30s.
or something like
But
that.
granted, with Dumbledore, he's like
He's
160,
really old,
so
yeah.
we don't know how old he is, and he could be 80 in Fantastic Beasts, and we don't even know.
That would be cool if like Dumbledore made an appearance. But I'm honestly fine if there's
As a
like, no one.
student,
Yeah,
he's
as
like
a
your friend.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
that
And you're
could
like
be cool.
Dumbledore.
Yeah, it's awesome that the game's being made in Salt Lake. Like that's super cool. But it is Avalanche, and
They haven't made-
the only thing they've made is Disney Infinity. Yeah,
Well, is there going to be things that I can just buy? Like
Like
are
little
there
figures?
statues I could buy of Harry Potter?
I'd
That'd
be
be
fine
cool.
with that. my new obsession.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because like people have pointed out that a lot of new studios have been coming out of nowhere and being really good.
Well, heck, I mean, Rocksteady did it, so you gotta.
Well,
yeah.
and what the heck? What is it? Sony Montreal that made God of War.
Oh, Santa Monica, yeah.
I mean, the old God of Wars weren't awful, but they were people did
Not
not
what they are.
care
They
about
were-
them.
They were different.
They were
They-
different.
Yeah.
See,
'cause
they- yeah.
when they they basically basically
They
rebooted
did.
God of War.
They
Yeah,
did.
they did. Yeah.
So and they made it basically a single player action
Well, because
adventure
like,
game.
I mean, did you guys play any of the old ones?
No.
Exactly, but you knew what happened in the new one, and it's not like you felt like you needed to play the old ones.
No, not at all.
Exactly.
Because spoiler if you haven't played God of War, he leaves his old realm.
Yeah.
And like he's just
Goes
in a
to
new
Norse
realm.
mythology,
Yeah, he goes
yeah.
to Norse mythology. So he just switches completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of cool because they give like an explanation, and now they're just rebooting the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's like Kratos all that stuff still happened.
But now
Kratos
he's in
his own
It's a
place.
cool way of rebooting
Yeah,
it. It's almost like a Marvel
really
Comics
smart.
way. Of
I hope that
rebooting
they
something.
are able to continue it. That
I know.
Where once they're done with Norse, they can go
they
to
go like Egyptian
Egyptian mythology, and there's like Anubis.
there's the hints of it in the game.
Kratos is gonna die. He's
At
old.
some point.
He's already an
Well,
old
then you
man.
can play as
Atreus.
Loki.
Atreus. Yeah. No, spoilers. Good.
Well, we already said spoilers. We said spoiler warning like 2 seconds ago. We're talking about the end of the game.
Yeah.
Goodness
Sure.
gracious.
But yeah, it's like the biggest spoiler though.
That'd be cool though. That'd be so cool.
There is hints in the first God of War, or the new one, that there's like all the symbols for the other mythologies. Like there's the Egyptian one, like Chinese.
I imagine once
mythology.
did he kill any gods this last time? Just the brothers, right?
Just the brothers. So like he hasn't even gotten to Odin or anything
yeah.
yet. Like there's still a
he'll
lot.
kill Thor. And
I think
Odin.
there'll be 3 games, just like the old
I think so
series.
too. Yeah, and then there's also at the conference they announced Final Fantasy, which great. I know we don't really care about that. Sackboy, which is like platformer. Looks
I want
cool.
to get into the Final Fantasies.
There's so
They just
many.
need to make one that I think I would like.
Final Fantasy VII remake, I think, is the one I would.
Was
like,
the closest, but then when I started seeing gameplay, there was some stuff in there that I was like, I don't know if I'll like that.
Oh really?
That's why I held back on it.
I have no interest in Final Fantasy. It's kind of like that pseudo anime where there's like the giant swords and
Yeah, I mean, I
crazy princesses. And...
I'll play Final Fantasy VII remake at some point.
So it's Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
But there's no Italian plumbers.
no Italian plumbers.
Oh, maybe.
in this.
Or
game.
Koopas, or like turtles that talk.
Well, maybe.
What else did they announce? They announced.
There was a RE8 trailer, which looks great. It looks awesome. Looks like the
I haven't-
merchant's back, which is heck yeah.
I've never really gotten into Resident Evil. I played 5. I liked 5. With
Yeah, that was
you.
fun co-op,
But that's because
yeah.
I played it with you. I think is the main
Mhm.
reason I liked it. But
Yeah, I just beat Resident Evil 4 again a while ago, which was awesome on Switch. There's got to be more. I know we're missing something. There was so much crap that happened. Is there any other big announcements at the PS4? Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
was announced.
Security breach.
Yeah.
Which it looks like a actual game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because Five Nights at Freddy's has always kind of been
just like a mobile touch. Kind of.
how do I like not a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of like an experience because like you're not.
It
Playing,
is a game, but
You're
it
not
is
playing anything. You're just.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game in the. It's as much as a game as like a Telltale game, but it's. More
That's
of an
what I mean.
experience,
Yeah, like a Telltale. But like because like the trailer looks like it was like an open world,
Yeah, it actually looked
like a
like
mall.
you could walk around.
like the 1980s or something.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks pretty cool. Five Nights at Freddy's is like a pretty scary game that I think would be cool if they made it an actual game.
I wonder if that'll be VR.
I think
If
Five
they
Nights
get
at
VR
Freddy's is
support to
too. It's gotten too much of a bad rep because it's become like Cuphead, where it's like they make like
It's
the
just a
plushies
huge fan base,
and like the little
stuff.
kids love it too much. Because like I feel like it could be a cool game if it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
You know?
They had Oddworld. I don't really know anything about that.
Oh yeah, Oddworld. Yeah.
And then they had Black Ops Cold War, the campaign mission, which
Oh, yeah,
looked
you-
cool, but it kind of looked insane.
it looked like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, and I was like, eh.
I'm
I'm not excited for Black Ops
I'm
Cold
not
War,
either.
which sucks because I love Black Ops series. you
It's
know?
a spin-off, like you can tell, like especially with being named Cold War. It's gonna. I'm not saying that it's spin-off, meaning it's gonna be lesser than, but
It's gonna
maybe.
still have multiplayer and campaign.
yeah.
and zombies.
And and zombies, and I'm sure they'll add a battle royale.
Just
at some
saying,
point,
the zombies snippet looked freaking dope though. Did you see?
but No,
It was like it just had like
I'm never playing zombies again.
it was like in the dark, and he had a flashlight on his gun,
Oh really?
and he was like turning a corner, and then he moved down and he saw a bunch of zombies. I think they're like revamping the whole zombies experience.
I wonder
to make
if
it more
they
scary.
will put like Cold War into Warzone essentially, to where they just mesh that as the battle royale, because they've already kind of started doing that.
Warzone's in the Modern Warfare engine though.
Yeah, but I mean, just like add things from Black Ops. It
I
looks
hope
like
so.
it looks like Black Ops Cold War is almost in the Modern Warfare engine. Am I wrong about that? It
I
looks
think you're
very
right.
similar.
It does look very similar.
Like the
In
way
which
he
engine?
moves now, like he looks more like Modern Warfare movement.
I really
yeah.
hope they don't just abandon Warzone because since
I don't think they
Warzone
will.
is because like
They-
I
I
don't
think
want
they
them to
will.
make another freaking
Really?
battle royale.
Well, I think you're gonna until they announce for Cold War battle royale.
I
But
think they're
eventually
just gonna
going
make
to.
Cold War's battle royale Warzone.
You
I just think
so?
it's so
Yeah.
stupid because like they had what was the one even in Black Ops 3, 4? What was it even
Blackout.
called? Blackout. Like they had Blackout. It was a whole mode, and now it's just what? It isn't even up. Can you even play it?
Yeah, you can.
It's
But
weird. Like
it's-
that's a battle
it's-
royale that I don't think anybody plays it. I could probably go on right now and get a win because there's like 2 people in the lobby.
For what game?
Black Ops 4 battle
Oh,
royale.
yeah, I don't know.
Blackout. Like
that was a dead one.
that's
now.
weird because like I hope that doesn't happen to Warzone because Warzone's pretty successful, like way more successful than any of the other battle royales.
Yeah.
Like it's up there with Fortnite now. So I hope they don't just abandon it.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else you guys can think of?
No, I think that's the show.
All right, cool. Well, we thank you guys for listening or watching, or if you're even there.
You know.
Hello.
You can
If
follow
you're
us
not
on
here.
social media, Super Bros videos on Twitter, Super Basement Bros on Instagram.
That's funny because on the Instagram I was like, "What are you most excited for?" And nobody.
I did.
After the
He
fact.
did.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't.
Oh,
You just made a post for him.
Well, and you did it after the fact, so I had to do it on my 2 separate Instagrams, and then just not put the handle. So I was like,
Love us, please. No,
nobody gets to this point in the video.
No.
I don't think literally
Look, we
one
are-
person.
we are-
no, our video statistic. There's no viewers at this point. Like it drops off after 2 minutes.
I think if it's anybody, it's
2
us.
years in. We're having fun at this time.
Yeah,
At this point, it's
excuse
just
to talk
yeah, it's
about
just
it.
an excuse to talk.
Yeah, we're trying to justify this as much as we can. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Follow us on all that crap. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.